Morning everyone. Hope you've got your cup of tea for this one. So Microsoft have been on a bit of a launch, scattergun approach over the last few months with Copilot. There are Copilots everywhere. It's just Copilot, 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 Copilot. I think it's the new developers. If you don't know what I'm talking about with that, maybe check this out.
The key to success is developers, 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 developers. Developers, 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 developers. Yes!
Okay, so that was the Steve Ballmer era. Interesting time at Microsoft, a little bit more chilled now with Satya sitting at the head. But still, there's a lot of Copilots, and this is the latest one that Microsoft have released and kind of shown off, and the one that I'm probably quite excited about. This is the Azure Copilot. So it's using that large language model with context of your Azure infrastructure, allowing you to maybe query your Azure infrastructure and work on actually extracting some information out of it and understanding your infrastructure better by using these large language models. Now, the best way to describe these large language models, these ChatGPTs and Facebook's Llamas and a whole bunch of others out there in the world, is if you're trying to use them to do something, especially trying to learn something, is this going to replace your job? No. The way I describe it is it's like going to the forest to chop down a tree. If you go to the forest to chop down a tree with an axe, you still need to know how to chop down the tree. And then you'd still need to know how to turn that tree into something like furniture, i.e. a table or a chair or anything else. A large language model assisting you to do that process is kind of like providing you a chainsaw. You still need to know how to cut down the tree, and you still need to know how to build the furniture. So it's not going to be able to do things on its own. It's not an autopilot, it's a co-pilot, okay? It's sitting next to you, it's not actually really doing the driving for you at all. You still need to know what to ask it, and you still definitely need to know how to interpret the answers. So what we're going to have a look at today is we're going to check out Azure Copilot and see, is this thing any good? Spoiler alert, not at the moment. So let's get straight into it and see what Azure Copilot can actually do at this moment in time. So what about Copilot on Azure then? Well, let's go check out and have a look what it is. Again, it's not going to do your job for you. You're still going to need to know what you're looking for, but let's see where Microsoft are at the moment with Azure Copilot. So we're over here on the Azure Copilot documentation page, and first of all, this thing it's not going to be turned on by default on your tenant, and it is turned on at tenant level, not at subscription level. So if you have multiple subscriptions, this is turned on for everybody when you turn this thing on. There's no button within your portal to do it. So if you look at my portal over here, you'll notice there is Copilot running up here in the top right. That button will not be there for you until you ask for it. And just like a lot of these Copilot features, and also things like GPT-4, if you want that model, you've actually got to make a request. So if you see here, there is a complete the registration form option on the documentation. You have to go and open this thing up and ask nicely, essentially. So if you come through here, scroll down a little bit, where are we? Metrics-based insights, troubleshooting, what's next? Click here to sign up. They kind of bury that right down here. So if you click on this, it links you out to a Microsoft Forms, and you can go through this Microsoft Forms, fill in all your details, first name, last name. You also need to fill in things like your billing account ID here, and you need to fill in your actual email address to log into the Azure portal and your tenant ID. Once that's all done, you wait a few days. For me, it took about a week, and you get a nice email from Microsoft saying, hey, we've turned on Copilot for your environment. And you get this lovely magic button appear at the top of your Microsoft Azure portal. You don't need to go into the preview or anything. It's already there. So if we click on Copilot here, it's just going to bring up this chat window on the right hand side. Now I've already been running a couple of things down here, so let's go and clear this off and do a new chat. You'll notice this looks just like the other Copilots that Microsoft have released for the general public. So the stuff that you see on Bing, the Bing chat down there. And if you look on Windows 11, some of you guys on Windows 11 will have this Windows Copilot button. And if you press that, you get this flyout coming. It's basically just Bing chat, just embedded into your operating system. But the difference with this Copilot here is it understands your environment. It has the context of everything that's in your Azure environment. So the theory is you should be able to do some basic stuff. So, and when I say basic stuff, it's not massively advanced yet. If we go through here, these are some of the options that we've got. We've got stuff like get resource information and get monitoring information. So if I go into get resource information, what is this really going to do? It's going to give me some sample prompts, like for example, write a query that finds all the changes in the last 7 days. Let's just try that. Let's try that exact prompt down here. So what this is going to do is this is actually going to write a KQL or Custo query to try and query the Azure Resource Graph. And the way that Microsoft are reworking the way that Azure does things is everything is going to go through the graph through queries rather than using multiple different APIs. Oh, we have an error. I'm sorry, but it's not possible to generate a query that finds all changes for the last 7 days. Azure Resource Graph is designed for querying current state, but it doesn't track changes over time. Well, that's useful. I mean, this is an actual example from the sample prompts down here. Okay, can you see any current changes? Let's have a look. Would that actually work? Find all current changes. Determining what to do. We'll leave that to crunch and work. Oh, that's actually done something now. So it has produced a resource graph thing here for all the current changes. But it's not doing it over 7 days. But interestingly, if it runs this, I should be able to change this timestamp around for the last 7 days. So again, this is a good example of not relying on something like this straight away, but maybe to just extrapolate what it's doing. So it's trying to execute this query against Azure Resource Graph, and it's done that for me. Great, let's go into the Azure Resource Graph Explorer. Okay, that's cool. There's a change time. Can you modify this query to show only results from the last 7 days using the change time column? Ooh, I can't even spell here. Right, column. Let's go. What's that going to do for me? So again, we'll give it a chance to go and work on these things and see what kind of results I get. It's kind of laggy. I don't know if that's just laggy from the Copilot or from the query, but then again, this query here from the Resource Graph Explorer appeared to only take 0.639 of a second. So I think it's kind of this thing that's taken the time rather than actually the query itself. So when it's saying executing the query against Azure Resource Graph, maybe there's too many people using this? I don't know. The slowdown seems to be in Copilot, not from the Graph Explorer itself. So we'll wait for that to see what it can do. And we're going to have to check out some other queries that we might want to run. Generating Kubernetes YAML files. Well, that's interesting. Using Copilot, what can we do with this? So generate me a YAML file for a front-end service using port 8080. Give me a YAML file to manifest a cron job that runs every day. Okay, that could be interesting. Playing with ChatGPT and GPT-3.5 and GPT-4, trying to get it to write config files failed most of the time. So I don't hold that much confidence for this. But yeah, let's go ask it something in a second. Okay, so it's returned my results here, and go into Graph Explorer. There we go, last 7 days. So it determined that my first query here asking for a query for all changes in the last 7 days. This kind of didn't give me what I wanted it, but breaking it down to two things, give me all the changes and then filter it. And that's added in a change time ago 7 days down here into the KQL query. Seemed to work. So let's try again. Let's try the Kubernetes YAML file. Let's go in here and say, can you make me a Kubernetes YAML file to deploy Nginx as a front-end service on port 8080. Will that like it? Right, so that says, I'm sorry, but I'm currently unable to generate Kubernetes YAML file to deploy an Nginx service due to communication with the AKS Intelligence Assistant. I wonder what that is. What is the AKS Intelligent Assistant? Let's see what that does. So far, this is not a particularly successful demo. So that's still working. What is the AKS Intelligent Assistant? And it's produced nothing. Okay, let's try again. Let's shut down that Copilot. Let's go back to home. Let's launch Copilot again, and let's go and do another chat. Let's give it something else. Let's do generate Azure CLI scripts. That could work. That could work. So generating Azure CLI scripts. What have we got? Yeah, let's make some basic CLI scripts down here. So make me an Azure CLI script that shows all my resources. Oh, in fact, all my resource groups. I'll keep it simple, and then displays them in a table in alphabetical order. Oh, actually, no, not alphabetical order. Let's do something that I don't know. Table in the order in which they were created. Oldest first. All right. Let's give that a shot. In fact, you know what? While it's doing that, I'm going to go back to ChatGPT, and I'm going to put that straight into ChatGPT as well, just on GPT 3.5. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's done a thing. It's got a script. I'm just going to take this and just straight up throw this into Cloud Shell and see what actually happens here. Okay. So this has created me a little bash script. So let's go copy that code. Let's go back here into Azure. Oh, it's got a code here for me as well. So let's go launch my Cloud Shell, and we'll wait for that to boot up. And we'll try both of these side by side. We'll try some Copilot, and we will try some ChatGPT, and we'll see what happens between those two scripts. So let's make this a little bit bigger. Connect to a terminal. So are we in? We should be in. Yes, I have some stuff and some things here. That's great. Let's just go and do vi copilot test.sh, and we will just pop that text right in there, and we'll just right quit that. Okay, so now we should have copilot test.sh. Now, thanks to Copilot giving me this, I need to actually go and add executable to that. So chmod plus x, chmod plus x, copilot test.sh, make it executable. And then we can come back and we can just literally do // to run that specific script. So // copilot sh. Without any modification to the script, let's just see what actually this thing does. Cannot index array with string created. Okay, fine. Well, that one broke. What about this one then? Let's copy that code right inside here, and let's go and place that inside there. Let's see who wins. Argument -- query invalid, type name, name location, created args, created at. Okay. let's see what happens if I press the run button to execute it directly without copy pasting. We'll give it a chance. So connected to terminal, and it doesn't appear to pass it in. Okay, so let's go copy that again, paste that inside here, order by created. Again, it doesn't work. But why doesn't it work? Well, it's doing a query on created. It's doing a query on tags created at. There's no tags here. So that's not going to work. What's this one doing? Why did this fail? Okay, this is doing tags at created times. This appears to be doing a tag system as well, which again isn't going to work. So they're doing tags create at and tags created time. So both of these got it wrong. Okay, let's try something a little simpler. Let's use one of the examples. Create an Azure CLI script to list all storage accounts. Okay, we'll do one in ChatGPT and we'll do one in Azure. So that's good. I mean, it's giving me a basic command. Let's go and take that one line here. Let's copy that. Let's see how this does. Query quest, it's not even a word. AZ storage account list, query name, resource group, location, SKU, output table. Okay, go. Yes, that gives me a result. Okay, I've got another one over here, AZ storage account list. A much simpler answer, if I may say so myself. But it's not giving it me as a table. Okay, give me that output as a table. Let's see if we can go back and forth with this thing. Determining what to do. Give it a moment. Okay, so it's given me a different script. Let's go and run that. Will that actually give me that table output? Yes, it will. So we've got AZ storage account list create output table. If we go back up here and actually have a look at the, actually it will be in my previous. So it's pretty similar to what GPT actually gave us out here, but GPT went for the SKU.name as well as the output is to a table. So ChatGPT wanted to add something else on the end of that. So what can I kind of conclude from all of this? Well, there's a whole bunch of other scenarios here that we can run through. We can go and check out this for analyzing costs. We can go check out this for getting resource information. Is it any good? Well, what kind of capabilities do we have? At the moment, I've got to say no. I mean, this doesn't look great as an initial preview, but I guess that's why Microsoft aren't making this public yet. This has got a long way to go. A long way to go. So yeah, the almighty AI is not going to be taking over your job just yet, and apparently it's not particularly great on your own data either. Let's see if it can actually just do one more thing. Can you tell, let's see if we can use it for learning. Can you tell me what, in fact, let's just go to create a resource just to prove a point here. And let's go to virtual machine. And inside virtual machines, you'll find that we actually have different types of virtual machines. We have trusted launch, standard, and confidential. Let's see if it knows the difference between these two. What is the difference between a trusted launch virtual machine and a confidential virtual machine? Maybe instead of trying to get it to look at my data, maybe it's better if I go and try and get it to look at the Azure documentation. Let's see. So searching through documentation, determining what to do. Still going, still going, still going. All right, again. Let's just go and throw that into GPT 3.5 and I get an answer from January 2022. Yeah, pretty much an answer straight away. Over here, okay, it does give me the answer. It does give me the answer. So I suppose if you were working through deploying things, it's going to help you out with that. But yeah, this thing has a lot more to go. Anyway. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that kind of a play with, or at least my first play as well, with the Azure Copilot. Not particularly as successfully as I would have hoped, but at least it shows some of the not so, how to put this, happy path demos that Microsoft sometimes use. If you go back and check out the Ignite talk and down at the slide deck for that Ignite talk, what they recorded there was all video. They didn't do anything live. And I think now I can definitely see why. So I hope you'll join me next time for another exciting video. And I don't know what the topic will be on next, but maybe we'll go back to some PowerShell tutorials, or maybe we'll go and try and look at another Copilot, because by the time I get around to making another video, I'm sure Microsoft have launched 2, 3, or another 5 Copilots. And you know the routine, hashtag like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this video and will join me next time. Goodbye.